Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have Donald Trump regrets to share with you and stories of Trump voters truly entering the find out phase of their journey. This first one is a perfect example. So take a look at this man. And actually, let me pull these off of my screen. So this is the story of this man here that you see on your screen, 28-year-old Texas entrepreneur. This guy named Roland Biani, I think is how you pronounce it. Biani, I'm not sure. Anyway, he is a Lebanese immigrant. And he isn't a US citizen, so he couldn't vote for Trump, but he is a huge Trump fan, huge Trump supporter. He actually opened, well, there's some debate on this, but he supposedly opened a chain of restaurants in Texas that sell MAGA and Trump themed burgers. So this is called Trump Burger, at least it was called Trump Burger. And Trump's name is seared into the top of the bun. The menu items are named after Trump's family members. They even had Trump impersonators who roam around the dining rooms. So this guy was just all in for Trump. You're not going to be surprised to hear then that he is an accused criminal. This guy, Biani, as you can see here in this article, he has now been accused of cheating to stay in the US, of lying and cheating. So according to the Trump administration, Biani, or whatever his name is, pretended to be married to an American citizen in order to stay in the country. So he is now facing deportation. Evidently, he was arrested back in May. He is currently out on bond, and his immigration hearing is set for November 18th. And what they're saying is it's not looking good for him because immigration services couldn't find any lease, couldn't find any joint accounts, nothing with the couple's names on them together. There is no proof whatsoever that they ever lived together. And even her family, even this woman's family, admitted that this whole thing was a scam. And an ICE spokesperson, Daily Beast reached out to them, and the spokesperson got back to them and called Biani an illegal alien and said, quote, "Under the current administration, ICE is committed to restore integrity to our nation's immigration system by holding all individuals accountable who illegally enter the country or overstay the terms of their admission. This is true regardless of what restaurant you own or political beliefs you might have." Yee! This is really funny because not only has Trump completely screwed him, and said, no, this guy, this guy needs to go. He's here illegally, overstayed his allowance in the country. But Trump had already said, you got to take my name off of this restaurant. You're not allowed to use my name. You're not allowed to use my likeness. Stop. So trying to pay homage to his dear leader, to his Apricot Antichrist, and Trump doesn't want any part of it. And then to compound the problems for this guy, I mean, he might actually want to flee the country because he's currently being sued by two of the other owners, two of the guys who are supposedly, I guess, co-owners of the other chains, the other restaurants. So they're saying, no, you were never a founding member. You were never one of the co-founders of this restaurant. And I want you to pay me, blah, blah, you ripped me off. So this guy just absolutely is walking in Trump's footsteps. As I often say, we don't have to wonder about some people. It is very clear why they support Trump. Anyway, next up is a man who was able to vote for Trump last year, but he plans to vote for the Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani in the New York mayoral race. So check this out. 69-year-old Kamal Hossein told the Gothamist news outlet that his vote for Trump was a quote-unquote mistake and, quote, The way he was talking, I was thinking he might be a change. He might do something better. Now, definitely not. No more Republicans. So, not just not voting for Trump, he's not voting for Republicans anymore. And then another Trump voter and Mamdani supporter, they spoke with the Washington Post, and this guy said that he's now very uneasy about his vote for Trump based on the way that he's treating immigrants. Although he still stands by his vote. This is 32-year-old Juan de la Cruz. He told Washington Post, quote, "I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I did what I thought was right." Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of crossover with Trump and Mamdani voters. So Trump and the Republicans are making a huge mistake by trying to go after him. And the Democrats are making an even bigger mistake by not backing him. Next up, I have 69-year-old Abdur Rahman. He also voted for Trump, but he actually went out and canvassed for Mamdani, and he said he'll vote for him in the general election. So this is why I'm saying to everybody, Mamdani got more primary votes than any other person in this election, in previous elections. He, I believe, is poised to just have a blowout in the general election. So, and because of people like this, because if you were registered in New York, or New York City, I should say, as a Republican, you couldn't vote for Mamdani in the primary, but you can in the general. So anyway, mark my words. So Rahman voiced very similar to concerns to the previous man that I talked about over Trump's immigration policy. And he said, quote, "They're not safe here and they're not safe there. So what are these people supposed to do?" And then Rahman, like so many other Trump voters, thought that he was only going to deport criminals, that those were the only people he was going to target and deport. Now, Rahman says he's questioning the future of the Republican Party. So, Trump, as I said, he has managed to do what the Democrats can't. He has turned people off to the entire Republican Party. I also have more Jeffrey Epstein related regrets to share with you. So, this one comes from, let me see where I'm at here. This one comes from the Focus Group podcast with Sarah Longwell. So this is going to be a video. So take a listen to this person and what they had to say.
I believe there's a client list. They talked about a client list for years and years and years. We're going to release this client list. It's coming out. Now, all of a sudden, they've got how many 11 hours of video of Epstein's cell prior to him committing suicide. Suddenly that popped up. I just think, it's one of those things they're just going to, sweep it under the rug. We'll mention it on social media. We'll laugh about it, call them liars, but it's not going anywhere. We're not going to see that client list, and we're not going to see the real video.
Yeah. So Trump and his team would like everyone to believe that, oh, this is going away and this is dying down, blah, blah. I mean, first of all, we know that that's not what they really think. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done that meeting that they had this week. And for anyone who heard that they canceled it, they didn't actually cancel it. They just moved it to the White House. So it's now been reported that, yes, that meeting did go down. I don't know if J.D. Vance ended up taking part in it, but there was a meeting between, according to sources who spoke with news outlets, there was a meeting between Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and certain members of Trump's team to discuss how to handle this whole Epstein thing. So they know it's not dying down, or otherwise they wouldn't be doing a meeting like that. There would be no reason for it. Anyway, this guy obviously gets it. He understands. Now, this, for people on the podcast, this was a swing voter. Now, unfortunately, Trump has managed to quiet the vast majority of his voters with his smoke and mirrors and the court transcripts fiasco and head fake, basically. So there is that segment of his base that is going to buy this. But you have a lot of people like this, like I've said before, who were not 100%. They're not in the cult. They're not the Kool-Aid drinkers. And they absolutely have an issue with all of this. This is not what they signed up for. And we all know, even if Donald Trump releases anything, even if they were to release the transcripts, I should say not just anything, but specifically like the transcripts, they're going to be highly redacted anyway. And those transcripts only relate to the 2019 indictment against Epstein. So they likely don't contain anything about his co-conspirators or anything about the accomplices. Anyway, over on his failing social media site, the Kool-Aid drinkers, the Kool-Aid day drinkers, the worst of them, they're falling for this BS. I did find some with a few brain cells left, though. So one person replied to Trump, and here's what they told him. This is on Kool-Aid Central. This is on Truth Social. So they said, quote, "This seems a self-fulfilling prophecy. Trump already knows that if it is released, the transcripts will be heavily redacted, and obviously this will make those interested in the information very unhappy. I like Mr. President, but now his intellectual posturing, claiming he can predict how people are going to behave, using his preliminary access to information that most do not have, is becoming childish pretentiousness, and a 70-plus-year-old man should know better." Another person told Trump, quote, "No, sir. Most Trump supporters want to know, even at True General Flynn." And so, of course, they're talking about Mike Flynn. Another person said, quote, "I'm certainly not on the left, but what the average Americans want is transparency and justice for the victims. What you asked to be released doesn't meet either of those. We don't give a rat's ass who's on the list. We want the DOJ to start doing their job and prosecute those who abuse the minors that Maxwell and Epstein recruited for the rich and powerful elite. Every damn one of them. You just don't get it, Mr. President. We want transparency from you and justice for the victims. We want what you promised on your campaign. You are fracturing your base of support over this. Do we support you on just about everything you have done? Yes, but this you had better deliver on." So supports Trump on everything else, but, sounds like this could be a red line. I just don't understand how these people don't get that he's on the list. He's in those files. He is guilty. That's why he's not releasing them. I also found this fun story, so take a look at this one. This person posted, quote, "I remember when my coworker told me a year ago she wasn't going to vote for Biden because she didn't want a pedophile in the White House. Today she told me, I can't believe we put a pedophile in the White House. Now convinced he's connected to Epstein. I'm sorry, we?" Yeah, we. Like, really? I had a part in this? My dad used to, when people would say we, and my dad was like, I didn't have anything to do with this. He would say, "You got a mouse in your pocket? Or are you speaking French?" Now you guys know. You know where I get it from. You know where my sarcasm comes from. Anyway, MAGA influencers, the Hodge twins, I don't know if you've heard of them, but anyway, they posted about this whole Epstein betrayal. They wrote, quote, "I voted for elite pedophiles to be brought to justice. I didn't vote for them to be protected by the government." I mean, I guess they just didn't understand that they may have been voting for one of those elite pedophiles. And then the last one I have for you guys today is a Bitcoin bro who posted online. He said, quote, "I think Trump has been turned into deep state. It's not looking good. I didn't vote for more weapons to Ukraine. I wanted the Epstein list released. I'm disgusted now. I'm not sure if Trump is going to deliver on his other promises. Not good." Yeah. Again, I mean, when you don't pay attention to the facts, when you don't look into his history, when you refuse to accept the fact that more than 24 women have accused him, that he has been found liable of sexual assault, that a Trump or a judge called it rape, when a woman who was at the time 13 years old accused Trump, or I should say it the other way around, when a 13-year-old who is now a grown woman accuses Trump of violating her, maybe actually pay attention to that. Maybe look into it and figure out if it's real, instead of just assuming that everybody has Trump derangement syndrome, which is clearly what MAGA has. All right, guys, I will have more for you. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.